My 25F partner, 38F, says she can hear God's voice. Update. I talked to her. I told her I am coming from a place of love and concern for her well-being. That these conversations she's having with God are concerning me. I told her I want her to seek help. Now, her responses went somewhere like this one. She's already talked to her psych team, and they pretty much told her that the voice is not harmful. She is not feeling homicidal or suicidal, so not to worry, and let them know if it changes. 2. She is still on her meds. Mood stabilizer and antidepressant. Never stopped taking them. 3. Since I am not a woman of faith, what she is experiencing is not something I will be able to comprehend. 4. I obtained the phone numbers to her close relatives in case of needed counsel. However, she told me that she has already talked to them about her experience with God and they can understand her because they are of faith. 5. She understands that this behavior falls under categories of manic episodes. But since she has experienced these in the past, she knows this isn't one, to which I responded, "You don't know you're having a manic episode until it's over," and she agreed. 6. Her God is a sweet and loving God. So if she ever heard him telling her to do anything harmful, she would know it is not him, and would check herself in at that time. Overall, she wasn't upset or offended by this approach. But I also don't feel like I got through to her at the extent needed. I can't take her against her will, and she's swearing I have nothing to worry about. Would you all still recommend I call a crisis hotline to come to her? I am going to talk to my own therapist about this Friday. Frankly, I feel a little detached from reality after all of this myself. Also, thank you everyone so much for the constructive advice, opinions, and experiences. I truly appreciate the support. Okay, pretty sure this might sound crazy, but I had to tell someone else. Neither of us are devout religious people. We believe in God, or a higher power, but follow no religion. A few weeks back, my lady told me she heard God talking to her. She said, God told her to get into the shower and turn the temperature up all the way to a point of burning. But the water didn't burn her, and that's how she knew it was God talking to her. God told her to publish her book, which she did, and has been guiding her to her right path ever since. Last night, she was telling me that God has put everyone in her life under a scope and is revealing their true colors to her, removing those from her path that don't belong and drawing the right ones nearer. She's going on and on about this, finding amusement in the fact that so many people are not going to have access to her pretty soon. This whole conversation rubs me the wrong way. My body is literally rejecting it. I get mad anxiety at this conversation for a reason I can't quite place. Next day, she's talking about God again. I'm telling her something about this feels off. She said, God told me this new phase I'm in would make people uncomfortable. She said she really hoped I would make the cut with her. Then she asks me, is there anything she would do for me that I would not do for her? I told her, there's a lot of things I would not do for my partner. I put myself first, always. She wasn't very happy. Now, we have always had our typical issues. But this is very new and uncharted territory that is kind of freaking me out. I'm trying to be open-minded to her conversation with God, even though I don't exactly believe you can just hear God speak to you. Edit. Thanks for all of the input. I see now that this is a lot more serious than I realized. I am going to try to talk to her tonight after work, from a place of love and concern, that I think she needs to seek some help. She does have a history of bipolar, PTSD, and a few others, and she's on meds. I will update after we talk. She absolutely needs medical help. Unfortunately, people in this state are generally not open to it and can't be forced to do so until they are a danger to themselves or others. Spiritual psychosis. Likely to get worse without medical intervention, unfortunately. Edit. Disclaimer. Not a medical professional. Just encountered this scenario a few times with close friends. She needs to be evaluated for psychosis or schizophrenia, like immediately. Not a joke. This is at minimum a mental health emergency. Just the shower thing alone is a bit worrisome. And at worst this is a neurological issue. Please encourage her to seek health care. If she won't listen, which is likely, reach out to others who love her. Friends, family, etc. They might not know what is happening. But huge changes in personality, let alone what sounds like hallucinations, is not a good sign. As the old and famous saying goes, if you talk to God, you're probably praying. If God talks back, you're probably schizophrenic. Please, please, please get her help. My uncle just tried to sacrifice someone because God told him to. He's not sorry either. He's locked up now. But hindsight is 20/20. We saw it coming. God told me to tell you, to tell her, to see a goddamn doctor ASAP. I once spoke with a man who was convinced that the angel Gabriel was directing him to bring justice to the world by culling the evil. Your GF needs an immediate mental health evaluation. As most have pointed out, this is incredibly serious and she needs to be evaluated by a psychiatrist to rule out if this is caused by mental illness. It's not uncommon for certain illnesses like schizophrenia to first be diagnosed in one's early 20s. Also, start keeping record of everything. This might be useful when she finally goes to a doctor. I know you are in a difficult situation and putting yourself first if things become too dangerous is okay. That doesn't mean that you still can't get her help. Does she have any family that can help with this? Also, you need to strike the right balance. Please don't use words like crazy or psycho. Those are taboo and make things worse. She is going through something very serious right now, and right now she seems to be a threat to just herself. But that can escalate. Please reach out to your local mental health resources to help guide you. If you have friends or your own family that can also support you, please reach out to them. Not to freak you out, but please treat this seriously. I would say the last resort would be to have law enforcement do a health check, but again, don't use this unless she is in the middle of another episode. Not sure where you are, but in the US, law enforcement historically treat people with mental illness badly and make things worse. Best case scenario would be if she checks herself in for a 72 hours hold so she can be evaluated. Hi, I work at an inpatient psych facility in admissions. I help people find help for their loved ones in psychosis every day. Please get your GF to the ER. Don't push back on anything she's telling you about God or her other preoccupations, but also don't agree with it. Stay as neutral as possible and use that to get her to the ER if she's resistant. Prompt her to tell the nurses in the ER about her book, or whichever aspect of the delusion she's currently most fixated on. It's very common for people with infections to experience altered mental status. So ER is best to start with to rule out infection or other physiological issues that might be causing this. A crisis unit in the ER is also the only way that someone can be screened for inpatient treatment, in case it does turn out to be mental health related. If she refuses to go to the ER, you can call your local hospital's crisis unit and ask if they do mobile crisis screening or if they can help point you in that direction. Please feel free to reach out for further guidance or support. People hugging. That anxiety you're feeling is telling you something important. There is something off. And unfortunately, just getting her to the doctor to get evaluated won't necessarily get her the help she needs. That being said, if you can get her to go with little issue, do that. Does she have family or close friends you can go to about this? Maybe they can help. My friend in college experienced a long manic episode that came out of the blue. He was also writing a book. I feel like that's common in manic episodes because the person suffering has so many racing thoughts, and in their manic state they feel like they have life-saving, transformative information to share. We could not get him to go to the hospital. He refused. We called his family and had them come. I don't know how to help you, Op, but I just wanted to say this very clearly looks to be mania or schizophrenia to me. Hey Op, I work with folks with auditory hallucinations and visual hallucinations as well as delusions. One of my clients right now is spiraling. He is drawing crosses on his body, will eventually shave his eyebrows off, and has a tendency to attempt to burn the building down. This is not something to play around with. My particular client also fixates on religion and churches. My mom is bipolar. Her manic phases come with her talking to her deceased mom. I have seen her progress into psychosis multiple times, ranging from mild to extreme. Your girlfriend sounds far into a psychosis, as she seems to be very open to act to what God is telling her. Psychosis can get worse by a lot of input stress. While you seek medical help right away, try to keep her circumstances in general calm. Avoid tough conversations and fights. To delay her from sliding further into it. I am frankly amazed at how blasé you seem to be about this. Aren't you alarmed at the detachment from reality your partner is displaying? Aren't you worried at all? If someone close to me told me they 1. Heard God, 2. Were culling people from their life at God's direction, and 3. Told me, I hope you make the cut, I would be out of there so fast there would be a me-shaped hole in the front door. Cartoon style. Seriously unhinged. Either she's experiencing psychosis, or another medical issue, or she's joined a cult. She needs to be evaluated by a mental health expert stat. She needs a psychiatric evaluation ASAP. I echo everyone here saying this is clearly a mental health crisis. It sounds very disturbing. There are many things that could trigger this, some more treatable than others. But it's very likely this is something that's going to impact the rest of her life, and the lives of the people around her. She is clearly a danger to herself. If she is dousing herself in hot water, and being outside of reality makes it harder to find and stay in employment. So she may end up financially dependent on others for a time. With all of this, I feel I should say that it's okay to leave. You can be done if you need to be, or even if you want to be. There's a beautiful poem by Mary Oliver that I think is worth reading. Link here. Women are so often asked to be caretakers, to put their lives and their dreams on hold for other people. And while it is a noble thing to do, I think it's just as noble to fight for your own life.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.